Yeah, so here we go again. It is Tuesday. The time is 6:45 in the PM. I've only worked 2.5 hours thus far today, writing that is. I've written 1.5 pages in that time. One defining the envelope of a breakdown of the title sequences of Daniel Craig era James Bond films, and and the defining of that. Well, my sentences may not be coherent, no guarantees given. I'm here because, well, first off, the car was not very viable. I mean, I could go sit in the car, but here I am. This is my mother's garden. This is the sunsail I put up. Currently is acting as a windshade, so that works. I've been shopping, so that's the obligatory talking to myself after. Today's drink of choice is Polish Monster Energy, the white and blue kind, because that's what I got for sweetish drinks. It's sugar-free, so it could be worse. And I'm drinking from a glass today, almost as if I were civilised. The reason I decided I'd try and talk to myself is because of the latest session, rules arbitrarily enforced rules, something like that. I realised I had it as a subject to talk about for a solid week, so 3 or 4 sessions, and I hadn't talked about it, which I guess means that is good news for me. I'll see it as good news because it means it didn't occupy my mind space, or it doesn't. The only reason I'm talking about it now is because I hadn't been talking about it, I guess. So I guess that's something beneficial, because that means I'm not letting my mind space be controlled by such things. Then again, I am still having my mind space be controlled, living rent-free in my head, by the Office for Student Loan / Grants. And guess sometime this week we'll have to phone them. My mum agreed to assist, so I don't got to face them by myself, because I don't think I'd be able to. I'm trying to figure out where the best part of £1,000 they owe me is, because it's been more than 3 months since they've had my correspondence, and they have yet to respond. It's more than double their quoted response time, so, you know. I've been smoking quite a lot, tobacco that is. My average have gotten surprisingly close to my global median, which is not good because I'm trying to smoke less, but I'm stressing out a lot about writing, so I guess that's the way it is. Pacing back and forth, smoking, thinking, and stopping to type every now and then. Currently, with this breakdown of intros, of physical phenomena as motifs of intros, or title sequences, I got something that is going to be good for a lot of pages. Not even a minute into the title sequences, and I've got a page, so, you know. The only problem with it is I believe it may be a bit of a stretch. It may be asking too much to have that counted as 1-for-1 page count. Then again, it is doing actual work. It's looking at the phenomena of applied physics in there, though they most certainly are CG. It doesn't matter. It doesn't change the fact that they are phenomena of applied physics. Some important, some not so important, but all of them are motifs. In the end of the day, I believe I can write what I like. No one really cares about the contents, which is a kind of bummer. But I got to manage it within the time, so I got to do things like this breakdown of these intros, title sequences, because my arm is being twisted to the point where I got to do it to meet the page minimum. I'd originally aimed to not work academically, because it's only an attachment, it's not the actual academic work. But I'm already at the point where the bibliography is as much as the contents themselves, showing that these are phenomena of physics, such as symmetry, a phenomenon of optics, and I get citations for that just because I'd rather have it be bulletproof, I guess. It just feel odd though, so you know. And I might be asking too much, then again I might end up with 45 pages instead of 40 if I continue on this train. Because I got to just continue the breakdown. For this I did download the video I'm using. I cited it on YouTube as well. I downloaded it and I added an overlaid time code just so I can easily watch it and quote specific frames. Make my work easier in the end of the day, the writing work that is. And oddly enough, though I'm trying to get away from it, it showed me how sufficient I am using the Adobe Creative Cloud or Adobe Creative Cloud suite of programs for doing video editing and such. Adding the time code, I did have to do a minor Google query, but that's all I had to do, and I was able to add the time code no problem as an overlay. It is very basic things, but that's something I'm going to have to all learn from scratch in DaVinci Resolve once I do manage to switch. Though the more I think about it, the more I deem it likely that the switch will only happen once I've graduated, or done my thesis film at least, just because with all this, the time constraints are too severe to be able to learn another program in the same time. In the end of the day, I'll have from the 30th of June till the 12th of August to prep my presentation for thesis defense and for shooting and post-producing the thesis film and pre-producing, but the pre-producing will be a day or so it could be worse. And that's just kind of a bummer because I would have wanted it to be something I'm happy to put on my portfolio, and it is going to be video art I'd be willing to put on a video art portfolio, but I do not have a video art portfolio, and without a demo reel, just, half a minute of video art may be a bit of a stretch to show as a portfolio work. I have, earlier today, also inquired with a friend of mine, whom I very much so respect as to their ability in the English language. Abilities, really. About what it costs to have them proofread professionally, because I wouldn't want to ask it of them as a friend. We haven't been in touch all that much. But I do want the option of hiring them, and I believe it's worth the money. It's kind of a non-negotiable expense for me, much as having the thesis printed and bound. It's just things that are necessary, and theoretically I believe I can get away without having a proofreading, just because it's only the secondary language for all of my examiners, and I am rather fluent in English apparently. But don't got to ask for it, and I'd rather have solid grammar and language rather than just acceptable, which is what I'll present at the end of the day. Acceptable suffice for international English standards, but got a bad flavour to it. I don't like it. I've been smoking surprisingly little of the hemp, just because I had believed I was done with smoking pre-rolled until I reached into my jacket pocket in the shops early and found another couple of free pre-rolled hemp cigarettes, so hemp blunts, I don't know what to call them. So that's something. With shopping, it was approximately a third snacks, bit less, a third milk products, that would be cheese and milk, of which itself 2/3 is milk and a third is cheese. And a bit of other things. Also got some stuff my mum requested, so she put some of the money in. Total bill was $35 something, so $36.90, not 35 something. Which means I've got snacks for the next couple of days, and I've got milk for the next couple to 3 days. Which is good, because that means I don't got to worry about it. I am here now currently not writing, because this is an extended lunch break / dinner. Went to the shops, got some things. My mum is so kind as to cook for me, though I always feel it's kind of a non-optional thing. I cannot say no. It's not socially allowed. I am happy to have food prepared. It's just can break the flow. Today it's not, because I went to the shops beforehand anyways, you know. But that's just something I'll have to figure out. It has reached a point where I can now set up this tarp, sun sail / rain cover, all in the same, within a cigarette's time while smoking a cigarette. So that's quite nice. And it's surprising how affordable of rain protection this is, because at the end of the day, yeah, okay, I did use a lot of bannets on the corners, which are these small straps, tie downs, used commonly in film lighting. They're quite expensive, but I got them all given for free, so they didn't cost me nothing. The tarp I spent £20 sterling on in 2017, I believe it was, so I've had it for quite a while. And that's all really. So it's about €1 per square metre in expense, which is really solid. The post here is a walnut trunk of a small walnut tree I felled myself and then cyanotype blew after stripping the bark off. So that didn't cost nothing, just time. I only have this one post, all the rest is fixed points around the place. House, tree. So that's something, you know. But back to the main topic at hand. I'm really rather happy that I went fussed about talking about having gotten a parking ticket. Because it means there's not a big enough influence on my life for me to care, which I believe is a healthy thing, because one shouldn't have one's life controlled by others. Then again, I have a lot of relationships which at this time for me are non-optional. That I deem of a toxic nature to the point where I would not have them once they are no longer non-optional, which is going to be the case soon enough. So I'll rid myself of those, because sometimes you just have to. I mean, particularly professionally, you don't always get to choose who you work with. Not pointing any fingers here, just saying, you know. And then in the future, I'll be in the position to decide myself if I want relationships or not professionally. The joke is, I don't have any problems with any single individual professionally. It's just the odd organisation that I do not approve of. I approve of all the individuals within the organisation, just do not approve of the organisation as a whole, which is a funny way of thinking of it, because one think an organisation is made up of its constituent parts. The language, difficult bit, you know. I am currently actually sat on the table I use for writing, as to be evidenced by this, which is my power supply cord from my laptop. I believe it's DC 19 volts, so nah. I'm going to continue writing in a bit, once we've had dinner, which will be in a few minutes, or I'll have to cut this eventually. But the recipe I got now, recipe in the figurative sense for writing, should give me another 10 to 15 pages, no problem. And I should be able to finish half of those today, and then I'll do the other half tomorrow. And then I'll be halfway done volume-wise with the paper, which is, I mean, here talking about it, I'm getting the dopamine of having done it without having done it. But I'm only human after all, you know. I am autistic, but I am human, so I'm not perfect. The weather today has been surprisingly pleasant. There was the odd shower, the odd sunshine. I'd guess the temperature's around 17 centigrade. Humidity is low. Every now and then we have some precipitation, but I don't mind because I have this tarp over my head, and I'm outside so I can smoke. Like, the weather is really rather pleasant, which I guess is one part of being in this part of the country. It's a lot less likely to have horrendous weather down here because it's known as Toscana of the country, so it's got to be good weather. I'm starting to grow very worried with that money. The officers, student loan / grants, BAföG still owe me. I shouldn't let them control my life. Then again, I don't got the choice of interacting with them or not because I am dependent on them economically. This have a bad aftertaste, I guess. I have considered getting wine while I'm down here. It's the wine region of the country after all. But I think I'm going to skip it this time on if, then only get like a crate, just because I'm not in the economic situation to be able to afford a lot of wine. It's a very good guest gift if one is invited somewhere. But at the end of the day, if I can't afford it, I can't afford it, I'll just have to do the rest of my stock in my flat before I come get some here around the turn of the year, because I'll be around for Christmas, I'm guessing, or Hanukkah, or the winter solstice, or whatever you might want to call it. Then again, I'll probably keep my stay here short then. We'll see, It's funny how that works. I do have several things I'll have to keep in mind and not forget to take along when I leave here. I'll have to take the Porter Studio, which a friend of mine in Berlin is lending and, borrowing. I'm lending, they are borrowing. And they'll digitise our tapes, so I mustn't forget the tapes either. And it's much looking like they might want to buy the Porter Studio after the fact then. 464, Porter Studio 464, by the way. That's something handy because it's not like I would ever use it. I don't think my sister would want to use it, and there's another thing out of the way, Same with the tapes, once they're digitised, that's a concern less to have. So, slowly working away, chipping away at the huge pile that is my dad's stuff. Get there eventually, I mean, I do have, of my dad's stuff, I have a synthesizer in my flat, a Roland E20, guitar, and a 626 Roland drum machine. The guitar is just an eBay knockoff Stratocaster transparent acrylic. And I like having them things, but I don't use them enough to justify the space. So I really have to figure a way of storing them more condensed. As to that, when I want to use them, I still can. But that they do not take several square meters of my flat space. Just because it's hella expensive. Hella expensive. I've been sleeping real horrendously. Yeah. While here. I believe part of it is just because all the work I do is in here. In my head. The typing and writing and so on. I'm not physically exhausted at the end of the day, but that's just what come along with academic working. It's not much choice. So, that's something I'll have to figure out. But this too will pass, as the good times do as well. Then again, this isn't actually that bad a time. So this too will pass, as the bad times do as well. For I'll have to have a job to pay my rent in as little as 3 months' time. Shit. Time fly. And then I'll have to go to work to pay my rent. Something I am looking forward to in some way because it's financial independence. Not looking forward to in other ways because it's more responsibility. And who likes responsibility? I mean, yeah, okay, I'll do it if I have to have the responsibility, but I'll prefer not to have it, It just feel odd becoming a responsible being. I'll still have to figure how I write up my manifesto sometime, my mission statement, just because I will want to do that. That's the next bit of voluntary writing I want to do. First off, because it's very dense in thought, I can probably get away with less than a quarter page, and I can have it say a lot for quarter page. I'll have it say more than my thesis. Then again, my thesis is academia, so it's a pyramid scheme, you know. Whereas a mission statement is not academia, and either it's a corporate bullshit and it don't say nothing, or it's say a lot because it's basically manifesto. I aim my mission statement to be of the latter kind. It's not going to be corporate BS because I am not a corporation. There is actually a flat spot in the ground where I stand most to type. It's funny how that works, you know. Yeah, anyways, I'm feeling really rather adult, so I highly suspect this is called adult. Thank you very much for sticking around watching these. They mean the world to me. Hope you too feel adult, assuming you are. If you are not, you may want to ask your parents to not watch this or to assess if you are to watch this. Stay safe, I'll see you around. Cheerio.